everybody, it's Sarah Paikai and Jennifer Kim here in our series on the unicorn team.
Favorite
so excited! Today we are going to be talking about mobilizers, but if you haven't checked it out yet, there's a full playlist that has all our videos, great to watch on repeat. Like, comment, share, subscribe, and we'll be able to interact with you there. All right, let's dive in. This is my favorite video, obviously, about the mobilizer. So, first question, what's a mobilizer, and what are some of the characteristics that they have?
So the mobilizer is the execution lead on your team. They are the person, the role that loves the operations, understanding where the money is, understanding where they can save money, understanding where the people, the process, and the technology ties into each other. We call that systems. Builds a structure by which the vision and the strategy can be executed. They are the caretakers of the business, I like to say. Like, they make sure that that the wolf is not trying to penetrate the hen box. You know what I mean? Like, it's not protectors. They're the protectors of the business. And the other thing I want to say about mobilizers, because we didn't talk about this in one of the videos, so I want to be clear. You will have a number of mobilizers in your business, okay? The Visionizer, Strategizer, and Mobilizer, yes, people occupy the roles, but the mobilizers are the doers, bottom line. And so you'll have a bunch of mobilizers potentially, depending on what you're up to, but typically your main goal is to get a Sarah Paikai. I mean, how many times do I get people, saying, I need a Sarah. I was like, yeah, well, you can hire Sarah right now to help you. We have a program called CEO Circle where our chief mobilizer helps you, Visionizer and Strategizer, screw up your team, right? So it's like, and she trains up your team to think like her, to use structures in a useful way. Useful keywords.
That snaps into what you're already doing and doesn't make more work.
Right. And so the mobilizer's job is to make all of it easier, and they actually want to do it. They find joy out of that, right? They love fixing things. They love things to be orderly. They love a checklist, but a great strategic mobilizer, which is what the unicorn team wants to build into your team, is someone who can translate the strategy into execution pretty quickly, and that doesn't happen overnight. Takes a lot of mentorship and role mentorship between the V, the S, and the M for that to happen. And so anyway, that I can go on and on. What do you think the mobilizer is, since you are the chief mobilizer?
I love all of those things. I think if we think about like traditional titles, I would say that they're the project managers, product managers, campaign managers sometimes, the executive assistants, the online business managers. It's people who really love oversight, delegation, and making sure that everyone is clear and that the communications are flowing well.
Operations lead.
Yes. I love it. Okay, sorry. Obviously, I'm a little biased on this.
She loves it. She's damn good at it. So there's that.
Okay, so you answered this a little bit, but someone asked, what can I have my mobilizer be responsible for in my business? So that's a good question.
Well, in one of the videos that you probably watched before this, if you didn't, definitely go and watch the videos. We talk about one of the biggest problems in business, especially smaller businesses, is that they're told you should delegate everything to, let's say, a virtual assistant or an executive assistant or a project manager, right? And sure, you definitely want to be delegating things to them, but it's what do you delegate to them? And so when we think about mobilizers and their relationship from a leadership standpoint with a strategizer and a visionizer, and I just want to also say sometimes the roles are combined, so don't get confused about that. Don't think, oh God, now I have to hire two people immediately. That's not what we're saying. We're saying you have to have the mindset and the skills of understanding, so you can sort and know what hat you're wearing while you're scaling your business. So from a mobilizer perspective, it's the person who's the right person for the job based on the goals that you have. And I think we've always adopted a 90-day plan. Like, we do yearly strategic planning. Typically, the mobilizer facilitates that a particular thing, and I noticed with a lot of clients that the Visionizer doesn't. They should not be doing the facilitation of the strategic planning. Don't let them do it. Don't let them do it. Don't let them do it. But if you are a mobilizer listening to us right now, I want you to have the confidence to be able to direct the Visionizer too.
Yeah.
They are not just, things, they are not just people you throw tasks at and say, handle it. They are an active, integrative, in fact, so nothing happens, the dream can't be realized without a mobilizer, period. So it's such an important relationship to nurture, especially as a Visionizer. And again, in the last video, I said they're the most important person you hire next and cultivate, because the rest can come through consulting, concept, a lot of different things. But your mobilizer, if they grow with you, can turn all of your rocks into gold.
Yes. I think that's really important too. Like in the beginning years, I did a lot of study around my own position, and I still do to this day. But in the beginning, I was really trying to figure out, like, what's the checklist, right? With my mobilizer view, what's the checklist? How can I just check all these things off? And because I'm Asian, I also want to get an A+, 5 gold stars, always. I'm not unashamed to say that. And what is that? How can I just epitomize, right? How can I reach the epitome of this? And finding that it's not just about doing the work, but I think the key between a good Visionizer and mobilizer is that they have to have that chemistry.
For sure.
There has to be trust and communication, and that there's a protocol for conversations that you have, and the types of conversations, and the right places to facilitate that connection. That so many times people are like, oh, well, I don't know why it didn't work. I said, okay, what did you do? I told them this is how I would do it, and these are all the pieces I don't know, and to fix it.
And read my mind, please, while you do that.
Exactly. And then, okay, so what happened? They gave me this thing that I didn't like. Did you give them feedback? I just told them that it wasn't good, and they said they didn't know what else to do, so now I'm giving up on this, and I'm going to go and do it myself. I'm like, okay, so that's why you're having this continued problem. You're not diving into what is that chemistry between the two of you. How do you make this type of magic? How do you mentor? How do you communicate? How do you receive inputs and listen, too? Like, I know some Visionizers, they just won't shut up. And the team is like, I have all these things I'm trying to explain to you, but they're railroading the conversation because they have this deep desire to be heard, which I understand. But you need that back and forth that's happening in order to really create the magic that you want to see happen.
And we have a whole system in place, of course, in our company, and to help make that happen.
Yes.
Because, again, all three roles need to understand their place of how they can scale the brand in an effective way. And I think that mobilizers are, again, generally speaking, they want to please their boss.
They want to make sure they got it right.
They want to make sure they don't want to be wrong.
Yes.
They want to see. They love tangible outcomes.
Yes.
They love tangible tasks, and they love tangible outcomes.
Accomplishment energy.
Right. Accomplishment
something
energy.
Off and closing a loop.
Yes. And
Yay.
so Visionizers are good at initiation energy, but we're really bad at accomplishment energy. We want accomplishment, but we just assume we're accomplished. You know what I mean? And so I feel like with mobilizers, back to that chemistry piece that you were mentioning, Sarah, that I want you guys to get that trust, it's trust.
Yes.
Trust is the heartbeat of the chemistry. And I mean, we like tease, we're work wives basically, right? And we are.
Yes.
And I don't know about you, but if you've ever been married or in a relationship, I'm sure you've been in some kind of way, it needs caretaking and tending too.
Agreed.
And what's cool in a business sense, because we didn't always have these tools in our personal lives, is there are structures that we have that help facilitate that conversation, including business therapy. There's a lot of stuff that we do that other people don't do, and we're kind of like confused. Like, why don't other people do this? And I think it's because Visionizer is so afraid, if I put my dollar over there, will the mobilizer quit?
Ooh, that's a good one.
Let's talk about that, because I know
you've
seen a lot. So they're
really
afraid to invest in the mobilizer.
Yes.
And I want you to hear from a Visionizer, I totally get that. So how do you think the mobilizer helps create that trust?
So I think that a lot of it has to do, I tell mobilizers this all the time, is that, we are obsessed with getting things done, getting things right, getting things perfect. And that's just not how business works. You're not a multi-billion-dollar corporation that has oodles and oodles on a budget and oodles of time to just throw things at it. If you want to be a winner in your space, you have to be able to be lean, to be adaptable, to listen to what the market is telling you. And as a mobilizer who just wants, let me batch all of this, I'm going to get it all done, we're going to do it one time, and that's all of it. That's just not how the business is going to work for you. And so the number one piece of advice that I love to give mobilizers is to get really confident at two things. Number one, having communication and being able to go to bat to have those communications, even if you feel like it's a hard conversation, because sometimes you might make it more to be in your head than it actually is when you say it outside of your mouth, and I still am guilty of doing that often, right? And the second thing is iterations. Being willing to show the works in progress, and back to number one, that communication piece, you show the work in progress and you communicate how you feel about it. Example, I haven't finished this fully yet, but this is kind of where I'm thinking. I at least wanted to get something in front of you before we got into the weekend. I'm going to keep thinking about it, but what I'm hoping is that you can give me feedback if there's anything you want me to adjust before I do the second iteration. And there are so many times mobilizers don't do that. We're doing that in our minds, and we're holding on to it like it's so precious. We finish this grand thing, we give it, and if there's any feedback at all, mobilizers start to crumble like, you don't like my work, I got it wrong, I'm not doing it properly.
That's happened
so
with us, FYI.
Yes.
It has happened with us.
It's so stressful.
Yeah.
And then over time, I'm talking months and months and months, there can be like this unspoken resentment that starts to get of like, oh, you don't like anything I do, so I'm not going to do anything. How about you do it? And that's not the Visionizer's job. It still is our job, right? So having the tools to communicate that you use to sustainably scale and grow your brand and your business is first. And then the second is getting really comfortable with prototypes and being able to communicate where you are in showing that work. Sometimes I'll be like, look, I know I was supposed to have reports for you, but I just didn't have time this week because X, Y, Z. And Jen will come back and say, that's cool. Let's solve what kept you from being able to get to those reports because I really want to make sure that we get this type of reporting in for A, B, or C that we're working on. And that dialogue can't happen if all I'm doing is sitting down and going, okay, I can't talk to you until I finish the report. I'm going to finish all the reports. Then I'm going to be mad that you didn't understand what it took for me to get this report. Then you're not going to like the report. Right? We make this whole thing in our eager to please, perfectionist, A+ attitudes that we can stay out of that dark side and just really lend it to how can I have the best iteration of what's happening now and communicate as authentically and truly as we do, and that we have structures in place in the business to help facilitate both of those sides.
Visionizers, as you're listening to Sarah, you're like, yes, please. I want my mobilizers to think like that. We can help with that.
I got you.
Unicorn
Come
Team
find
is
me.
all about helping that. I
Yes.
get it. I know what you want. I get it.
So I guess that leads into our last question, which is, how do I, as a Visionizer, this person writing asked, go about finding and training up a mobilizer?
You know, it's interesting because it is hard to find good talent.
I agree with that.
Oh my
Especially in the small business space.
Oh, do you know why the small business space it's hard? Is because it's very difficult to compete with the pay and the benefits of a large corporation. And so that's why there's another series on here called Values Driven.
Mm-hmm.
Listen to that because that informs the V, the S, and the M of why they're together. Like whenever there's tough times, put the values and the vision and the mission in front of them and say, this is why we're here. Because that's what makes people stay and understand why they're there. Because they have two choices. Go back to the corporate world, which most people don't want to do, or go be an entrepreneur yourself, which is really hard, right? So it's like, how can I scratch my itch and still be happy at work? So I know I didn't answer the question like, how do you hire them? But my point is like, when you hire whoever, it's very possible that you have somebody on your team that could be a great mobilizer, but everything they've done, you think you haven't been happy with it. But if you took a step back as a Visionizer and asked, wait a minute, this person's loyal. They've stayed with me. This person actually understands our clients. And maybe they're not your second in command mobilizer, but maybe they need more responsibility around certain things. Like maybe they have great client handling skills. I don't know. Point is that to find those people, I know there's like the normal ways, Upwork, Craigslist, Indeed, Monster, all the things, okay? And I guess I'll start with this. You need a job description for them.
100%.
And it's not a monolithic job description.
Right.
It's not, I want a virtual assistant who does my marketing funnels and does all my accounting, right? It's like, that's not the right Job description.
Yes.
You write a job description for every type of mobilizer you need. Like, let's say it's a project manager. Let's say it's an accountant. Whatever it is.
Executive assistant. Right.
They need a job description, because when you put out, I need a VA, I laugh like out loud when I see that on social media. Can somebody get me a VA? It's like, what do you need this person to do?
Correct.
Right? And for those of you who don't know what VA is, virtual assistant, it's like, and you're expecting people to read your mind. If you already are doing it like that, that system does not allow you to get good talent.
Yes.
You're actually going to get the people who can't get any jobs to say, ooh, they don't know what the hell they're doing, so I'm going to go and apply and sound smart on the phone or on email. That shit happens a lot,
I bet there's a lot of you out there that's like, why is she calling me out right now?
If you are feeling attacked, you're our people. That's what I just want to say.
You're not alone, by the way, FYI.
Oh, and we've not been perfect. And gosh, hiring is hard.
It's hard.
It's hard. And
turnover sucks.
Like, why don't you just? I'm going to out you a little bit, because this one right here, she also, mobilizers who are really good at their job will default to, you know what? Actually hiring another person will actually script my flow. Yeah, they're gonna take too long. I have no time, and they may not tell you because they want to still do well. And it's something we both have had to put discipline around, so that, because you can't scale your brand and create a sustainable business without actually even planning for those moments when you have to onboard new talent. So the same effort that we put into our relationship, we have to trust that putting that effort in will create rewards even if they leave. And you have to take that risk as a Visionizer.
100%.
Because otherwise you're never going to hire anybody. You're just going to be left, again, angry, resentful, and tired.
I think the number one thing that I've learned the most in our relationship around hiring and team has been, like, you create things for the position, not the person.
That part.
You create the position first.
Write that down.
And then you customize it for the person because you love them, and obviously not one size doesn't fit all with the job description. But I tell that to Visionizers all the time. They're like, what if it doesn't work out? I'm like, it's okay, because then at least you'll have all the structures in place of what we needed to build anyway, so that the next person that you hire can understand what's happening. It's not going to go away just because, you know, whatever. And hopefully that person stays with you forever. But if not, that's not the real thing that should be holding you back from getting the support you need from this type of position.
100%. I just want to also reiterate something we said in another video, which is don't hire other entrepreneurs to be mobilizers.
Correct.
That is one of the biggest mistakes that you will make, because they're actually, they could be good. I think that mobilizers in general, if they've learned marketing, they can be successful because they're very organized as entrepreneurs. But most of them just don't like asking for money in that way. They like making money, but they don't like asking for money in that way.
And having to hunt,
be available, all the things.
The feast and famine cycle, all those things.
So one of the things is that's how you also have the conversation with them.
Right.
Because maybe you do meet somebody who's entrepreneurial, and you can ask them, you know, where do you see yourself? Like, do you like our brand enough? What do you love about our brand? Would you want to stay on for a while? And see what they really say. If they say, actually, you know what, no, I see myself doing something myself, they're just not a good candidate even if you like them. Because it's not going to work out. 9.9% out of 10 is not going to work out. If you are that 1.101%, good for you. But we should not be planning our lives or our businesses around being outliers. So.
Amen. Love it. All right. Okay, rapid fire.
This is a good video. I'm excited. I know this one's a little bit longer, but this one's...
It's okay. It's my favorite
This was the one I think Visionizers struggle with the most, too. So I think this is great.
True. Okay, rapid fire answers. What are common characteristics of a mobilizer?
Anal retentive.
Yes. Okay, number 2. What are mobilizers responsible for in the business?
Making sure shit gets done.
Yes. And then number 3, how does a Visionizer go about finding and training up a mobilizer? I'm going to answer this one. Come and find me. I can help you with that.
Sarah can help you do that. Make sure you contact us.
All right. Well, thank you for watching. Leave any questions that you have about mobilizers in the comments below. Share this with someone who needs it. Like, comment, subscribe. We will see you very soon in the next video.